Yep, I think the Datsun just blew up on me. Alright, y'all, so it's the next day from my escapades with the Datsun yesterday. And prognosis is not good. So someone suggested pulling the valve cover off just to check the valves. I have had the issue with the adjuster coming loose and making a knocking noise. Unfortunately, it's not the case today. You can see on my finger if macro mode will work. There's definitely glitter on my finger. And if I get you in close to the cylinder head, you can see right around that valve spring over on the right, there's definitely glitter in there. So yeah, so that was actually rod knock yesterday. So that sucks. Alrighty else, I'm sitting here with the Z up in the air. I got the oil pan off, and yeah, there is definitely a bearing that's unhappy. And by the way, getting this off was meh in difficulty. Wasn't really too bad. Let me go underneath the car and I'll show you the cartridge. So working from the back to the front. Number 6 is kind of at an odd angle. I can't really get my hand in there. Same thing with number 5. But number 4 seems nice and tight. But number 3, see if I get you in a good angle. Number 3. Yeah, so that's definitely the bad one. And 2 and 1 seem to be about the same. So I'm gonna pull that cap off, see how bad the journal is, because if that journal is bad, there's definitely really no point in going further. However, if that journal's fine, and I'm still going to replace all 6 rod bearings and probably get some of the material out of the crankshaft that's not there and flush the oil out. But if that one's fine or good enough, just replace all 6 bearings and it should be back on the road. The way I could figure out what I'm going to do with this car, because I think it might be about time for a new one, to be honest. I love the car, but I'm kind of moved for something a little more modern, to be honest. Always buy a new one of these, worst case scenario. Alrighty guys, I think I should buy a lottery ticket. So I took sorry about the shaking, but I took the rod cap off, right? Be mindful of what orientation was, because these don't fit on one way. Especially with these. I think these are cracked rods. I'm not quite sure. Maybe not. I'm probably wrong. But regardless, I took the rod cap off. And that crankshaft looks immaculate. And even just from visual inspection of the rod end, still looks like a perfect circle. Obviously, the special tools you use to measure the roundness. But yeah, I'm pretty sure if I just throw a bearing in there, clean everything up, throw a bearing in there. It looks like I don't even have to polish it. It looks fine. And other than the machining marks, yeah, I can't feel anything with my finger. So new bearing, clean it up, new bearing, torque it down, fill it up with oil, let it run for a few minutes, drain that oil out, put another thing of oil in to get all the metal out of it. And I think this will be great. And it looks like I have to get a little pig to clean up some of these little oil thingies. But yeah, I'm gonna pull off one of the other caps by a cap 4, cylinder 4, because it's conveniently down already. That way I can see what that bearing looks like, because I'm still going to do all 6 of them. But if that one's fine, hopefully there's some markings on there to make sure I got the right ones, because I just bought a set of standard bearings. So I don't think this crankshaft's been touched, but I'm not 100% sure. Can never really be too sure. So yeah, but I'm pretty sure that Z will be back up on the road relatively soon. Only thing I'm kind of dreading is this gasket, because this is pretty stuck to the engine. But that's the least of my worries. Alright, so I got the bearing, the rod cap off in the cylinder 4, and it looks perfectly fine. Obviously it's an old bearing, so it's got, you know, just some mileage wear on there, but there's maybe one little scratch in it, and and that's about it. But the good news is, well, the better news is, I bought a set of standard bearings, and right there, right on the Nissan, is STD, so standard. These are standard bearings. And yeah, look at this rod cap and see that some machining marks that the other one didn't have, but I don't think that's really going to be the big... What probably happened was the bearing pipe spun once or twice and then came apart. Or started coming apart, then spun and popped out. I think that's what happened. But either way, I think this engine will be fine after just throwing a set of bearings in it and calling it a day. Hopefully within a couple of days I'll have the bearings here. Same thing with the oil pressure switch, because I think that's what caused the whole problem. And then this thing will be on the road. Note to self, bearing tab faces passenger side, or goes onto the passenger side. Alrighty, so a couple days later, got the bearings, new bearings installed on the Z. Torque spec for if you have 9mm studs, rod studs, I believe it's 30 to 40 foot-pounds. I set mine to 35. But anyway, here are all the bearings. They're all in order. Obviously, I'm missing a set because that one got deleted. But yeah, they're all hurting pretty good. Strangely enough, 4 and 5 are the best looking ones. Obviously, 3 is the worst because that's just a pile of dust. But 1 was definitely on its way of going. Like I said on the crank looked perfectly fine. Same thing with the rod end. So yeah, definitely, this is why you got to make sure your oil's topped off all the time. But 1's hurting pretty good. 2's not too bad, though there was a little bit of debris going through there. 3, it's just a pile of dust. 4, not too bad, but definitely hurting. The ones with the more damage of the pair is obviously the top shell. So that's bottom, that's the top one. 5 is probably the best of all 6, and 6 is pretty damn close to how 1's looking. So yeah, definitely was not happy. Waiting for an oil pan gasket to show up because of course it got delayed. Well, once I get that done, car should be on the road. Got new oil in it, new oil going in there. When to put oil in it with the cheap oil with cheap filter, just let it run for a few minutes to get the as much of the metal out of there. Then I'll do a whole change on it within probably, say, about 30 minutes or so, and then throw another thing of oil in there. Just get rid of all the old oil, the assembly lube, and whatnot. Yeah, car should be on the road pretty soon. Sorry about the wind noise, because of course every time I work on my car it always has to be windy. Alrighty, y'all, as you can hear, Datsun's running knockless. Seems to be running really good. Got the oil pressure switch down there, which I believe was the catalyst to the entire problem. However, one of these things has been knocking for a while because this is the quietest this car's ever been. Come to the back and back into the front. Got about a quarter tank of gas. Thought I had a half tank, but whatever. And my oil pressure is looking really good. This gauge has been broken for so long I can't remember last time it worked. But yeah, seems to be working really nicely. I got the idle up a little bit high just so keep everything going. I'm gonna let it heat cycle, turn it off, drain that oil, put some more oil in it to get rid of any debris that might still be floating around in there. But yeah, it's running really good. Datsun's back on the road.